Okay, so today we're going to build a scary maze game in honor of Halloween. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Really? Already? You guys are already laughing? Okay, that's fine. So the scary maze game looks like this. Spooky background, and then, you know, this maze that you can't really see. When you click the start button, the maze turns on. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some spooky music in the background. It's just like a low rumble, right? Okay, so we're playing some spooky music. Then, when you get to the end of the maze, when you touch it, it just resets the stuff. It just turns it off. When you get to the end of the maze, it does this. Ah, right? And scares you. Okay, so we're going to make one of those today. I'm going to show you how to make one. It's pretty easy. Let's go back to Visual Studio. All right. So we want to create a new project, and we're going to create a Windows Forms app. I'm going to call this Scary. And I want to change my directory. I'm going to put this on my desktop just because if you didn't know you could do that, you can change your directory to put it wherever you want. You definitely need to know that now. So you can change the directory. You can put that project folder anywhere you want. So I would suggest those of you who have problems finding your project folders to turn them in, put it on your desktop so it's easier to find. So I hit Browse. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And then, yeah, everything checks out here. I'm going to click OK. And we'll give it some time to build. Now, what we saw last time with the Windows Forms, we saw that with the 8-ball program, it creates a form for you, right? And so that's the first thing that pops up. We don't see code right away. We see the form, which is good because then we can design the GUI and make it look like what we want. So, okay, that was weird. So I want to set the size first. I want to set the size of my form first. So I'm going to go over here and find size. If you see it, yell at me. There it is. All right, so size. I'm going to make it 719 by 708 because that's the size of my picture that I'm going to give you. So 719 by 708. And then I'm going to change the text of this form. Oh, there it goes, and it automatically resizes itself. I'm going to change the text of the form, which is right here, to Scary Maze Game. Scary Maze. Okay. So then up here, instead of saying Form 1, it says Scary Maze. Okay. Perfect.
Mr. Storm?
Yes?
Can we have James Galley to the office, please?
Yes?
Thank you.
All righty. So we'll have to cut that out.
Bye, Galley. Bye.
See ya. I said I'll have to cut that out. This whole section right here I'll have to cut out. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just be lazy and post it. Who cares? So we have our form. We named it what we wanted. We made it the right size. Okay. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to go to the background image. I want to change the background image, which is over here. Let's find it. Let's find it. Background somewhere. Anyone see it? If you see it, yell. I don't see it. There it is. Background image. I want to change the background image. And the way I'm going to do that, ladies, if you're not paying attention, you're not going to know how to do it later. Okay? So please pay attention. The way I want to change my background image is I click these 3 little dots here. And this allows me to import resources, just like we did with the 8-ball game, right? So I want to import resources here. I'm going to click import, and I'm going to find my Scary Maze resources. I want the background to be this cool, spooky background here. I'm going to click open. But I'm also going to import my scary eyes while I'm here, just so that I have all my resources imported at the same time. So let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to click open, and then I want to make sure my background's selected because that's going to be applied to the background of my game. Now, it's not what I want it to be, so I want to make it fit properly. Anybody remember how we did that last time?
That's like size control or something.
You did console stretch.
Yeah, we did a stretch, right? Good work, good work. So instead of background image layout tile, I want to change it to background image layout stretch. So now we have our spooky road as the background for our game. Okay, super easy. All right, next we want to actually build the maze. Now this is a super easy process that some of you can make really complicated. Some of you can make it really simple. I'm going to make mine real simple. All you have to do is go up to your toolbox, or not toolbox, yes, toolbox, and grab a picture, where is it? A picture box right here. Just grab a picture box and put in where you want your start to be, just with a picture box.
What's up
And
with the computers?
it's, don't worry about it. Then I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to build my maze, just with picture boxes, okay? Make sure they overlap, okay? Make sure there are no gaps. Paste the new one. I didn't done goof. All right. I'm just going to make mine super simple. Paste. Okay. And then whenever you get to the end, you want to make a big ending area, a big landing area for them to make it to. So I'll make it that, and then I'll put another picture box down to connect to it. So my maze is super easy. You guys can make yours as complicated as you want. Okay, so that's my maze. Super easy, right? Alrighty, now I want to toss a button in there. I want to toss a start button in there. Okay, and I'm going to change the text of my start button to start. Okay, perfect. And then let's see what's next. Oh, we want to bring in our two audio files. So we're going to go to the Solution Explorer here. We're going to go to Resources. We're going to go to, we're going to go to Properties actually, and then Resources. And we're supposed to have some sound files in here. So we're actually going to, come on in. We're going to double click on Resources here and see the resources we already have imported. We have background and scary eyes. We just have some pictures. But we want to bring in our audio files. So we're going to add a resource. And let's, so we're just going to click Add Resource. No. How do we do it? Oh, Add Existing File. That's what it is. That's what I thought. All right. Add Existing File. We're going to go to the desktop, go to my Scary Maze. We're going to sort this by audio files. And then I'm going to grab both my background music and my scare sound effect and click Open. And it's going to bring them in. Now, my pictures didn't go away. It's just only showing sound files right now. So now I have them both in there. Now I want to save the resources file. So I'm going to hit Control S to save it. So now the resources file is saved. My sound effects have been brought in. My pictures are already in there. We're good to go. We can move on. Oh, we need to create the next form because we're going to have two forms for this program. We want one that's the maze and then one that pops up whenever you win the game to scare you. So we're going to create a new form. So let's go to, let's see, Solution Explorer. We're going to go up here. We want to add a new Windows form. And we will call this, let's say, just Windows form. We can call it Scare. Let's call it Scare. Okay, click Add. So now we have a new form here. Let's change the background image to the eyes. Click OK. And we will,
Stretch it.
well, actually, we want to make this full screen. So we will stretch it first, just to be on the safe side. Stretch it first. And then we're going to go to make it full screen. So we're going to do background. Well, let's put a button on there first. Now let's change the background. So we want background color. No. Oh, get out of here. Right to left. Boom, boom, boom. Where's the full screen? Auto scale mode? No. Auto size? No.
Why don't you just do it yourself? Couldn't you do it yourself?
You can, but I'm trying to remember how to do it from here. Let's see. Oh well, let's just make it a nice big one then. We don't need to do it full screen. We'll just make it nice and big like that. All right, then let's put a button on there. Up at the top. And we'll call it exit. So we'll change the text on this.
Text. Outside.
Yeah, there we go. What are we talking about over there? Okay. So we'll make it exit. Okay. Then we want to add code to the game. So we're going to go back to Form 1 here. Oof, it's tripping out. All right, we're going to go back to Form 1.
It is very true.
And we're going to hit F7 to view the code. F7. Cool trick. So you can click F7 to go right into the code. So now we have the code for our program, but there's nothing in it. We haven't done anything yet. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add our sound player. So right up here, right inside the class, but above the form method, we're going to add a sound player. What are we laughing about? What's going on? Jacobson's going to die over there. What's going on? Did I say something stupid?
No. I think he swallowed something.
It can't be anything other than what I'm doing, because you guys are supposed to be paying attention to what I'm doing and not something else. So it's got to be something stupid I did. All right.
What are you doing?
Good times. Okay, let's create a sound player. So here's the way you want to do it. We want to call the system, okay, because we want to access the system, the computer system that this application is running on, because we're going to need to access the speakers, we're going to need to access the audio card, all that stuff. So the system's going to need to be able to play the sound. So we're going to access system, and then we're going to tell it we're sending it some media. Then we want a sound player, something that will actually play our sound. We're going to call it player equals new system.media.sound player. Okay, so we've created a new sound player. All we've done there is we've created a way for our sounds to play in our application. If we don't do that, our sounds won't actually be able to function properly. We won't be able to hear them. So we just created a new sound player. And then next, let's see. Next, we want to go back to our form, okay, and we want to add some events. So with the last game we made, we had one button, and that button did one thing, right? So everything in our program went inside that one button event. But in this game, we're going to have a couple of different events that we want to create. And so we want to make sure that we're setting up the events in the proper way, right? Now, an event, just to review, event is just a subsection of code that's waiting for something to happen. So when a button is clicked, the code will run. When your cursor leaves a certain element or comes into a certain element, or really any other kind of event you can think of, that code will run. So we're going to create a couple of events. First, we want to go over here, and we have this little lightning bolt. That's our events. We can create a lightning bolt, or we can click the lightning bolt to create new events. So I'm going to click the lightning bolt. and I'm going to look for a mouse hover event. Should be down here, right here, mouse hover. I'm going to create a mouse hover event called end game. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. So now, if we look at our code, we created a brand new mouse hover event called end game. Easy. Okay. Perfect. Now I'm going to go back to the form, and I want to click on the start button. And I want to go to, yeah, so I have a start button here. I want to go to my click action, and I want to create a new event here. I want to call it start. So now I have a new event. It's a button press event, and it's called start. Okay. I'm going to go back to my form, go to my end game here, and I want to go over here and go to mouse hover again. Mouse hover. I'm going to call this scare player. Enter. So now I have 3 events: end game, start, and scare player. Okay. Perfect. So in the end game event, all we need to do is reset the game. So we're going to call a method called reset. But if we type reset, it's going to, and we try to do that, it's going to create something else that we don't want. So instead of calling it reset, I'm going to call it
Start.
and then, sure, we can call it restart. How about that? Restart. So I'm going to call a restart event, or a restart method. So let's see, what's next? Oh, in my start method, I want to enable my button, button1 dot enable, or I want to disable my button, sorry. Dis1 equals false. Okay, so why do I want to disable my button after I've clicked it?
So you can't click it again.
Yes, you can't click it again until the game resets itself. Okay, so I'm disabling my button, and then I'm going to call a start game method. Okay, so that's easy. And then in my start game method, which I need to create, I'm going to create a private method because I don't need to access this outside of anything else. Void start game. Inside my start game method, I'm going to create a for each loop. Now, a for each loop is something different than you guys have seen before. Before, what kind of loop have we used?
While.
A while loop, right? Now, what a while loop does is a while loop will continue to iterate its code. It will continue to run its code every iteration until a condition is met,
Until it's false.
or until whatever condition it's looking for is met, right? A for each is different. A for each will just go through an entire set of things, and once that set is exhausted, it'll stop running its code. So you can do a for each loop for an array, right? You can do a for each loop for every index of an array. For each index of the array, you run this code. Once you get to the end of the array, the loop stops. Knutson, what do you have down there by your side? What are you playing with? What do you and Albio keep looking at? What? You guys caressing somebody's leg over there? Oh, okay. All right. Do what you got to do, man. Whatever keeps you awake. Whatever keeps you excited. I don't care. All right. So we're going to create a for each loop, and this for each loop is going to loop through each control on the form. So for each control x in this dot controls,
Say what?
say what indeed. Basically, it's going to go through all of the objects on the screen, and it's going to check that object, right? What we're checking for is if, yes,
Can we have Bethany Phillips to the office to check out, please?
sure.
Thank you.
We're going to check to see if that object, if x is picture box. Gentlemen, I'm really starting to lose my patience here. You guys shouldn't be talking anymore. You should be paying attention. Okay? All right, so we're going to check to see if the object is a picture box. If it is, we want to do something. We want to first off enable it. X dot enabled.
Wait, what are you doing? Enabling the picture box?
Yeah, we're basically just making it an active object that we can do something with, right?
So what happens if you didn't enable it?
Then we wouldn't be able to change it. We wouldn't be able to use it in the event,
Okay.
which we're about to use in a second. So we want to enable it, and then we want to change the background color so that it's that nice, pretty blue or whatever color you want to use. So I'm going to do system.drawing.color.sky blue. So I'm changing the color of every picture box on my form once the start game method is run. And the start game method is run after, my button 1 is disabled. You see that? So I click the button, it runs the start event, which disables the button, starts the game. In the start game method, we run a loop to turn on all the picture boxes so that my maze actually turns on. Does that make sense? Cool. Alrighty. And then, once that loop is done,
You're still
am I doing it inside? Yeah, I'm inside the loop still.
Is it?
Yeah, let's get it outside the loop. I don't want it in the loop. Let's do it out of the loop. What we want to do is we want to actually start playing back the background music. We want to play the background music. Okay, we already created our system player before, or our sound player before. What do we name it?
Player?
We named it player, right? Do you remember that? I feel like he's the only one paying attention at this point. We named it player, right? So I can call player.stream equals properties.resources. I'm looking for my resources folder. .bg underscore music.
This is
My background music, right? That's the background music file that I pulled in at the beginning. Okay, so my background music. So I pulled it in, but it's going to play once and then stop. So I want to make it loop. So I'm going to do player.play looping. There we go. That's it. So now my background music will start playing, and it'll loop until this method stops running. What's up?
if you wanted to, could you do a resources.bg underscore music.play looping? Could you do that? Or not?
No, because I would have to access the player again. So you see how player.stream equals this? Once you access the player, whatever comes after this, maybe I could. I don't know. But this is just a cleaner way of doing it. Let's see. So that's the start game function. Now I want to do the same. I want to do a reset. I want to create a reset method or restart, which is what we call it, right? It's almost an exact copy of this, of my start game. Except instead of turning things on, we're turning them off. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. We're going to turn my button 1 back on. We're going to stop the player. Stop. Going to stop the player. And then in my for each loop, we're going to keep the structure the same. We're just going to loop through and find every picture box. And we're going to enable it, or sorry, disable it. And we're going to change the color back to black. Okay, and this stuff down here we can get rid of. So just to review what we've done, we have a start game method that starts the game. It turns all the picture boxes into blue boxes, and it plays our background music. We have a restart method that is called when? When is the restart method called?
When it's enabled.
The restart method is called up here in the end game method, or in the end game event. When is the end game event called? When you hover outside of a picture box, yes. So when I hover outside of a picture box, it's going to trigger this end game event, which is going to call this restart method. And the restart method is going to make my button turn back on, stop the music, and turn all the picture boxes black again. Does that make sense? Perfect.
Should we start it? Or are we not done?
Well, we want to create a scare, we want to finish up our scare player method. Okay, so our scare player event here, our scare player event, all it's going to do is call the scare form that we already created, and we're going to actually make it full screen here, because that's an easier way to do it. Full screen, new scare. We could have just called scare equals new scare if we wanted to, but I wanted to make it full screen, so that's fine. And then we are going to full screen. Oh, actually, we're naming it full screen. Sorry, full screen dot show. Perfect. So now this method or this event, whenever it's called, which do you remember where we call this? When we get to the final box, right? Once we get to the final box, it'll call this method, which is going to call that scare form that we created. It's going to call this guy right here.
He's scarier than he actually is.
Okay. Hoo, hey-o. Now all we have to do is we have to create the functionality of this button, and we have to make it so that the scary sound effect plays whenever we get to this form. So on this exit button, I'm going to go to the events. I'm going to make it a click event. I'm going to call it exit and hit enter. So now on this form, we have our exit event. Okay. And then I'm going to, inside this this scare method, inside the main method of this form, under initialize component, I'm going to start putting in all the information I need to make this full screen, to play the sound effect, all that stuff.
This is the starting. This is when it starts.
Yeah, this is when it starts. It's going to run all this code. So this dot window state equals form window state dot normal. Make it a normal window. This dot form border style equals system dot windows forms dot form border style dot none. I know it's a lot.
Wow.
Okay, it's
Well,
a lot.
I'm dead. You're dead. Inside.
This dot bounds, setting the bounds for the screen. Screen dot primary screen dot bounds. Okay, and now we want to play the sound. Now we created that sound player on the other form. We haven't created a sound player for this form yet, so we need to do that. So we're going to do system dot. What are you doing? Okay, system.media.sound player, and we can call it player too. Oh, why is this? We can call it player as well. Okay, new system.media.sound player. So we created a new sound player for this form so we can play sound effects, and we're about to play a sound effect. So we're going to call player dot stream, so create a sound stream. Okay, we're going to stream a sound. Properties dot resources dot scare, because that's the name of the sound effect. Player dot play, player's going to play. And then we're not going to worry about looping it or anything like that. We just need to play it once. Okay.
Okay.
What's going on? What's going on over there, guys? What are we doing? Are we having like a little mini fight club over there or something? Because you think I can't see you? Like a sleepy club? All right. Why don't you guys come up closer then? Come on up. Come on up. Come over here where I can see you, so you guys aren't back there, you know, playing dominoes or whatever it is you're doing. They're over there rolling dice. I still can't see everybody. What are we doing, Sims? You're hiding from me. I want to see your pretty face. Get over here. There we go. All right. So we've made, let's talk about what we've done. This window state equals form, window state, normal. We made it a normal window, okay? So, and this applies to the specific object that we're calling. So this means this form, right? This border style is none. We're just not going to have a border style around the window. This bounds, we just set it to the primary screen bounds. What that did was it made it full screen. Okay, setting the bounds to the primary screen means that it set the bounds to the actual screen itself. So we made it full screen. And then down here we created a new sound player. We created a player stream equals properties, resources scarce. We pulled in our sound effect, and then we had it play it once. Now all we have to do is tell our button to close the application whenever we click it. This dot close. And we're finished. That's the entire program. Done. Finished. So let's test it out. Let's see if it works.
Well, that was a lot more complicated than I thought.
Oh, it's not complicated. You just got to break it down piece by piece. There's a lot there. There is a lot there. I get it. But what's really nice, my sound effect's playing. Okay, let's test to see if it stops the game when I hover out. Oh, it doesn't. I did something wrong. Let's see what I did. But let's go here and see what happens. Ah, so that works. My exit button works. Oh, because I hovered back in there. Okay, so let's go back to our code and find out what I did wrong. Let's click here. You know what? I don't have a mouse hover event here. My mouse hover event is on the button. That's why. So I'm going to create the, let's do, what?
Nothing.
Okay. I'm going to call this end and hit enter. And then all the stuff that's in my end game, where is it? Where's my end game? Just calling the restart method. I'm just going to call the restart method here in the end. That's all I have to do. Now it should work. Nope, there were build errors. What's my build error? Huh.
It's an error because you deleted the method. You can't delete a method like that in this tool. So you got to keep all the methods.
Woo. Oh, I can hit control. Oh, cool.
So instead of like, you know, get rid of it,
Right.
method,
Right.
keep it.
All right.
Or else it'll screw up the whole program.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because it's already looking for. Okay. Basically, I try to do something fancy and it's not going to work. So let's go in here. Let's actually just get rid of that. And then we'll go down here and hit restart. We'll call the restart method in here. All right, so now it should work. Okay, perfect. Hit start. That works. Oh, and it turns it off. Perfect. Perfect.
What
Now,
happens if you touch the box with that when it's black?
nothing.
Okay, good.
What? So,
It's okay.
okay. So here's the thing. This isn't perfect. Okay, first of all, my maze isn't really that complicated. Second, this program isn't built to be agile enough to be able to catch certain shortcuts. For example, if your picture boxes are close enough together, you can actually skip over quickly with your mouse. because it doesn't catch it right away. So this is a fun maze game to build just to learn how to build it, but don't get too excited thinking you're going to make something super awesome and complex that's going to work perfectly well.
They made
Right?
17 million of these on the internet.
Oh, I know. There's tons of these. And now you guys know how to make them. So any questions? Any questions? Okay. So, yes. What's up?
Change the chaser.
Can I do what now?
Change the chaser.
Change the chaser?
Yeah, whatever that arrow.
Oh, the cursor.
Oh, cursor.
Can you change the cursor?
My fault.
Chaser.
No, that's a good question. That's a really good question. You actually can change your cursor. You actually can change your cursor, but it's really a complicated process. So we'll deal with that when we get to Unity. It's a lot easier in Unity to change your cursor. We're definitely going to change our cursor for a couple games when we build Unity. But good question. What's up? What else? Anyone else? Nope. Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead and post this so you guys can watch it back and follow along and build your application. Yeah, we have like 20 minutes left in class. So go ahead and open up and get it started. And then the video will be uploaded in just a minute.